What's up, and welcome to Nighttime at the Nerd Bar, episode 115. Woo! We have
Did it go?
It's
It still
going.
says scheduled for me.
Oh, okay. There we go. I see it change. I can see
Oh,
it.
it just
Bringing you that Monday energy live. If you're joining us live, join us over in the live chat. And if you're watching later, awesome. Check out reply and comments down below. And we are going to be talking about a little bit of some news. We'll be diving into Delicious in Dungeon, the most recent episode. How well do you know yourself and how well do your friends know you? And then we'll have some other recommendations at the end. So stick around for all of that. And first off, let's get into some introductions. Hello, I'm Carrie Lane.
And I'm Katie Cullen.
Yes. So let's get into right away. We got things we're excited about, which is some news.
Yes, we do. Not a lot of news this week, but our good friends Crunchyroll coming through for us with a reminder that season 7 of My Hero Academia has premiered on May 4th. So that is available for you. And also a reminder, if you want a solid refresher or to quickly dive into the series for the first time, the special 4-episode recap series My Hero Academia Memories aired its final episode 2 Saturdays ago, and is a good way to get up to speed on the anime story so far. Memories and Season 7 will be dubbed in English, Latin American Spanish, Brazilian Portuguese, French, German, and Italian. And yeah, it is available on Crunchyroll now. We are 1 episode into the season so far. So thank you for the reminder, Crunchyroll. And yeah, if you've never watched My Hero Academia before, check out Memories. It's a really good way to get the quick and dirty summary, as it were, before going right into the deep end.
And there are great refreshers too for if you've been following along, because this show's been around for a while, and sure, some spots get a little blurry in memory, but those are really great to go, oh yeah, that, or just like re-hype you back up.
Yeah, because again, season 7 just premiered. How long has it been since you've watched like season 1 or season 2?
I was like, ooh, good question. Probably back when it started. So
this show for me started.
Ago.
This show started 3 jobs ago for me.
Oh,
so it's been a minute.
Like it's been some time.
It's been 84 years. Anyway, 4-episode recap and first episode of season 7, all available on Crunchyroll. Episodes will be available presumably every Saturday because that's when this one aired. So, yes, do the thing, win the stuff, enjoy the show.
And we got, looking over in the live chat, got Giga Derek says, greetings from the pile of trash in the corner.
Where I live.
I was like, wait, which corner? Where? Huh?
Why do you think I have the screen?
Right? You're like, let me hide it. Oh,
yeah. We are not subtle about hiding our background.
So in hiding things, let's dive right into our show. Hiding in plain sight. I appreciated how silly, but then plot / action this all really was. Because our last episode was a bit heavy, and even though we can bring characters back, it is one of those, it's still intense, but this just felt goofy, and I was here for it, and it was goofy in a good way. What did you think of it?
The pacing of the show is very, very good at just running roughshod over you for about 3 plot relevant episodes and then going, okay, so we're going to keep moving the plot forward, but also we're going to take a minute to like breathe and have the shenanigans that we got you accustomed to in the first 3 or 4 episodes of the show. So yeah, we're still dealing with a problem at hand. Yeah, there's still a monster. Yeah, we're still chasing biblically accurate Fallon down into the depths. But like, isn't this funny? Look at these fun doppelgangers. Look at how crazy some of these guys look. Isn't this fun? I do love that they pulled a few things together at the beginning of this episode. I have a friend who just started reading the manga and has been putting up pages and discussing them. And they put up the first like 2-3 pages of the manga, which is the first few minutes of the first episode. So I got a nice little refresher about, oh yeah, the dungeon appeared. It was the king of the Golden Kingdom that fell 1,000 years ago, who came out of the dungeon, said, anyone who can defeat the mad mage in charge of this dungeon, I will give you my kingdom, and then crumbled into dust. And that's the kind of thing that you forget from it wasn't the cold open of the season. The cold open of the season was Fallon dying, but it's the sort of thing that you forget from the world building info drop in the first episode. So having that reminder from that refresher from my friend going through this and pulling out before she started reading further ahead than I got, and then having this conversation of, oh, we're looking for Lord, I forgot his name.
Oh gosh, me too. I'm like,
it's like we're looking for the king. Okay, well, isn't that the guy that came out of the dungeon and dusted? Like, yes, that is the man who Thanos snapped himself. Amazing. Terrible. So he's
outie. How did they expect to find him? Exactly. It's like, wait.
I think he knew. Again, this is me
Ooh,
theorizing.
This is have a ghost, right? In theory.
This is me spooling this out, though, a little bit. This is me theorizing because, again, from the point of view of the Mad Mage and from a wider lens, this is a tragedy so far.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm sticking with that view. He probably knew at this point because we kept getting res spells don't work outside the dungeon. Res spells don't work outside the dungeon. They really pound that into you as late as last episode. He stepped outside the dungeon and 1,000 years caught up with him because he was outside of the influence of the resurrection spell, of the thing that keeps the soul bound to the body. And the body went, so we're done. There's this thing called the Ravages of Time, and that's all going to hit real fast. So, like, I think he knew. And I think this was him going, this has to stop. Someone has to stop the Mad Mage. I'm not able to get through to him. Someone needs to. So here we go. Like, I really do think that was him making his final decision as king, going, someone needs to break the cycle, and I'm not capable of it.
And
so and then also pulling together what Laios saw in the paintings and why didn't you say that earlier? I only just put it together now. I like this. I like that we've taken all these little bits and tied them into a nice bow for the audience so we can all be on the same page. And then we just went shapeshifter shenanigans.
And in case you are new here, we're only covering what's in these episodes, so please no spoilers of what happens ahead with manga. Please enjoy laughing at our predictions of what possibly happens and be like, just wait.
Oh, yeah. No, if we were going to spoil ourselves, I would have mainlined the manga already. It would have happened weeks ago. It is very difficult not to do that.
I appreciate all those pieces coming together. That's a really good point. And I'm like, I feel there's a couple different countries that have that as the fable of the person who is somewhere for a really long time.
Lord Delgal.
Oh, the name?
That's his name.
Thank you.
Thank you, brain. Dang. But yeah,
I was like, I'm blanking on. I know I've read it from at least one country, and probably other ones have a similar thing where you are somewhere and then you come back, and then you don't realize how much time has passed. So I like that theory that he knew that would be you're done. So that one is cool. And then back to our shape-shifting things. I thought that was just a really funny kind of meta perspective on how one sees themselves and how other people see you. And there's a meme going around on social media a lot that's just you're a completely different person to different people. And that's a really interesting kind of perspective of not everybody sees you the same way, even if you feel like you're consistent. And this was just a comedic way to display. But some of those I'm like, oh, you did them dirty. Like,
oh, yeah. Some of them were, all of the Laios ones were kind of like, dang, guys.
So here Katie found this really great one here that let me try to add this to it.
I appreciate the Tumblr community because for one, they're very good about tagging their spoilers. And for another, I know it says Reddit. I initially found it on Tumblr, forgot to bookmark it, and then had to go find it again. And this is what Google gave me. But there is always supplementary material to go with an episode. Like 2 episodes ago, talking about meeting Shuro, I was talking about, there's a comic. It was on Tumblr. Like, the mangaka has done all of this supplementary material to go with these different chapters to explain things. So there is this image, and I think we should probably put this on our Twitter, just to kind of be like, hey, for those of you who didn't get a chance to read it on screen, there is this image explaining, like, the real version and then the different doppelganger versions who was responsible for what doppelganger and what went into that. Like,
Mhm.
what of their perspective, what of their thoughts on this person created that doppelganger. Like, if you look at Chilchucks right there, the two on the left are from Senshi and Marcel, and they both just see him as really young because they don't get how he works.
Mhm.
Lyos's is more accurate in terms of face shape, but he just flubbed the equipment.
Mhm.
So that sort of thing. And
And
it was
why I was like, yeah, I was gonna say the handsome Senshi. Not that
Hot
he's
Senshi
not
was
handsome.
so funny.
So funny.
And the text from Hot Senshi is from Chilchuck, and the subtext is
Yeah.
apparently a surprising number of half-foots idolize dwarves' masculine appearance.
Sure. That's one of those. Okay, that tracks. I can follow along.
Yeah,
Uh,
and like the
I like
really
Lyos so
the
bad.
extremely different looking Marcel, the
Oh, that was bad. Did
yeah,
her
the
dirty.
exaggerated Marcel is from Senshi, and he's been told how terrible elves are since he was small, and it's
Yep.
affected his subconscious.
Yep.
Like, this manga, this anime is not afraid to go into racism and perception of other people and others'
Yep.
races. Like, it's not like, oh, we're going to touch on that. It's like, no, that shapes the world. Let's
Oh yeah.
explore that.
Yeah.
And I love the microcosm of that in
Yep.
this shapeshifter episode. And then again, the explainer page going, and here is why each one was the way it was.
Yeah.
Like, I love
Okay.
that.
I like this. We'll take this with a grain of salt and humor. Rab says, to some people, you are a sandwich. To me, and to me, you're a buffet. Nice. Nice.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
So yeah, I like that. We'll share. Oh, actually, speaking of sharing online, we did not. There we go. Go check out NTATNB over on Twitter. That's our
Mhm.
Twitter page, and so we'll share images of different stuff we talk about if that comes up, or if it's a press release and the images of the release, or just reshare, announcements. So that is a good spot to check out, and also be sure to follow here on the Fanversation channel. All right. And back to, yes. So I thought that was very amusing. And the process of elimination of how they were going to figure it out was like, wow.
So when we were down to the final two for each person, did you guess correctly?
I think I just wasn't even thinking about it. But then when they said the reasoning, I felt, okay, that tracks. I kind of just zoned out of, okay, I'm just going to take it in. I wasn't trying to figure it out as much. But
True.
did you guess correctly?
I
feel like
did.
maybe did, but
I did. I watched this. My roommate was on vacation all week, so I
Mhm.
watched this before her, and I was definitely going like, I did different things because I have the advantage of being on this side of the fourth wall and being able to look at like animation differences. And
Right.
so going, okay, that Chilchuck, like the fake one, going, that face shape is wrong. He
Yes.
looks like a child. Like,
It's
that
like
is
an
not the right
uncanny
face
valley to
shape.
us a bit. It's like,
A
ooh,
little bit,
something's
but it's
just a little
also
not right.
it's one of those things where like it might be harder to pick out between like two real people, but having the benefit of going, okay, this is animation. They are very obviously drawn differently. Like, again, the benefit of being on the other side of the fourth wall. Picking the real Senshi was easy mode, obviously.
Oh yeah.
And then the Marcel was a toss up. And for me, it was
Yeah.
just like, I we're being a little too dour on the other side.
Mm.
We're being a little too into it.
I
And
did guess. I did think it was weird with Chilchuck sitting on the box. I
see,
didn't think
I didn't
back
even
to
pick
it,
up on that, but I'm glad. Yeah.
but I felt it was weird how he sat there. Mimic aside, the way he sat there and away from the group just felt off. But that
Yeah.
is kind of where Laios was going with this gut of, this just feels wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And the Marcel that had her hair fully down and was
oh, that
kind of
one too. I was
dour.
like, that changed it. Come on. Oh,
And
it blew in the wind.
well, I again looking at the image, I
Yeah.
love the fact that that is from Lyos's memory
Hmm.
because Marcel resurrecting Fallon stuck with him so much. Like, that has changed his perception of her. And I love that, but also that's kind of horrifying. You know?
A
little messed up. Love it. Love it.
Speaking of Laos, and right, you said that, yeah. RS says, I do like that Laos idea of Marcel was specifically based on how she looked when reviving Fallon, and didn't remember that one. And I love that Laos figured out who was real with his knowledge of monsters again. Yes.
Yeah.
Laos for the win with his monster knowledge. Yes.
Yeah. And then, yeah, again, picking out Senshi, like, you said you ransacked the whole house. That seemed out of character for you.
Yes. I knew that one too. I'm like, no, he would leave people behind. You don't get all of them.
But also, again, a hot Senshi. It's really not hard to pick. And I love that you could.
They had easy, intermediate, and advanced levels. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think that everyone was doing this, but you could really hear it with the Songwon's performance, that everyone was doing a different version of the voice for their different versions of the characters.
I didn't really notice with Japanese. It is possible they did
it, but I'm watching the dub.
Yeah, no, but that's interesting. I don't really recall them change. It is very possible, but yeah, since with subtitles you are processing, reading the subtitles and listening, it might have been more subtle. But that's really cool. They did that for the English dub.
Yeah, and it wasn't huge differences. And again, I'm not sure if the differences in the Marcel delivery were very like it was the same voice but very different delivery, because the one that was just very dour and very serious versus normal Marcel.
Yeah.
But for Senshi, like the hot Senshi voice was a little more, I hesitate to call it like stoic action hero, but it was delivered. It was same voice, but just delivered a little differently. Just I thought the details for the performances were so good. I loved that.
I thought that was really entertaining. Of hot Senshi.
Hot Senshi.
I'm curious then if that was probably was a combination of the actors and directing choice, because that'd be really. That is one of those adaptations from text to actually hearing something that somebody had to make that choice of like, hey, wait, because I don't necessarily, it's possible in the manga, different voices, but I kind of doubt it. So that's a cool adaptation to a visual.
It's a hard thing to purvey via text or convey via text. Where it's brain,
maybe
having a great time.
The only thing I could think of maybe is if you had like, you change, that would be interesting if the font type changed. Like if it's regular and then italic and then bold or something like that, where visually it's a little different. But then I feel that'd be almost an obvious indicator. Like it needs to be so subtle. Yeah. Interesting. Leave a comment. Let us know. Were you able to tell who the right ones were? And
I quizzed my roommate. She got them right. All of them. Like, yeah.
What's the worst that could have happened if you locked them in there while you dealt with the monster anyways, unless you want them to assist?
They would have been eaten.
Oh, you felt, okay.
Yeah, because they said like if left alone long enough, the doppelgangers will kill and eat the originals and take their place.
That's true. So I'm curious what would happen with a bunch of doppelgangers around one. Would they all morph too? Would they rechange?
Who knows, man?
Good question.
I did love Laos being a dog. Just bless his heart. That boy.
Our golden retriever, literally.
Just grew up in the boonies, surrounded by hunting dogs. And I'm like, oh, you truly are like, I hesitate to go stereotypical country boy, but like my dude.
Yeah. I mean, like it kind of tracks with our background that we know about him. And the logic of it makes sense. So yeah,
and just had no other friends, hadn't really met anyone outside of his village and the people in the dungeon, like the island. So like, grew up in the boonies, grew up in a very small town. So okay, familiarity with hunting dogs, cool. Being a hunting dog, getting too in character to remember that you have opposable thumbs and a weapon.
Well,
Bruh.
it worked though,
So,
so
I mean, I did love Senshi and Chilchuck panicking and Marcel just being like, just
yeah,
taking care of it.
yeah,
That to me was
I
one of the
appreciated
best
that.
parts.
Good
Hysterical.
team effort of
Oh, yeah.
yeah, let's just nip this in the bud. Because literally it then turned into the leaves and
Yeah.
yeah, I liked all that. That was very entertaining.
Marcel
Oh,
just like, okay, fine. Cool.
yeah.
This is why you keep me around.
But then we get the added danger of that group member from the other group. And
Asabi, I think.
I think so. I'm like, I don't remember the name right now.
Chat, help.
Yeah, what was her name again, please?
Yeah.
But
But they did say she'd turn up. Then she did.
they do not just throw things out there in this show. It's like, oh, she's there. But the question is, did she purposefully leave the group she was in before? Was she stuck somewhere else and couldn't get back or injured or some other problem? Or was this back to the idea of, was this a good excuse? And she's like, peace out, of what is happening there. And I'm curious about that character because I think that was the one that could shapeshift that made the giant spider thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, ooh.
I initially thought when
Yes,
they were
thank you,
like,
chat. Yes,
Asabi.
Asabi.
Thank you, Asabi.
Asabi. Yeah.
Yes. All right. Yay. But yeah, I was initially thinking like, oh, shapeshifter, oh, illusions. I'm like, okay, we know she can do that. Is that her? And then, oh no, we're just thematically okay.
Yeah.
All right, we're having fun.
So
But
I'm
yeah,
kind of curious, and then also that all leads to, so what are her motives? What does she want with them? Does she want to join them? Because nobody seems to join our group for long. They're all kind of like
I don't know. We
revolving
got Senshi.
doors.
We got Senshi. Yeah.
Yes,
Yep.
yes.
You over there going, ooh.
Yeah, but that's true. We just have Senshi, but Senshi has been like our core member and has stuck with them. That there hasn't been many long-term other people too. But
she's
I'm
also
curious. I'm going to give her benefit of the doubt of not negative intentions, but if it went the other way, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. We also know that she's been with them since the beginning of the episode. Because the whole everyone grab everyone another hand, like we can't get separated.
There was the other hand, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But
so you think that was her and not one of the doppelgangers?
It was her. You can tell from the armor style.
Okay, yeah. I like it. I
did
think that was a weird and creepy moment. I'm like, you're holding, this is the horror movie. We are holding an extra hand. Who's this?
Really big House on Haunted. I think it's House on Haunted Hill. It was the original movie. Like, who was holding my hand? Like, yep. Ninja. That's who. And also that she was able to. She was able to lay low enough that. Just the shapeshifter didn't notice her.
Yeah. Little teeny aside, I had it one time at Not Scary Farm where a monster checked in with one person and got the okay, and then they held the hands of their partner and they're walking and then turned around and screamed, and I thought that was wonderful because that's like,
amazing.
Can we do this? And it's like, yeah, and the person had no idea. I'm like,
amazing.
So
oh my God.
Careful on whose hands you're holding. But yeah, I think she could probably shape and hide in the corner, or maybe that creature recognizes she's a danger enough and like, I'll stay away. We don't know. So good question. Also, another thing, the climate has changed in the dungeon. They were expecting the hot, and they're like, why is it cold? So,
well, they just said, oh, I was expecting this floor to be humid, and I'm sitting here going, says a man who's never experienced a Minnesota winter. You can have very, very humid winters, you guys. It sucks. So, yeah, it's like, I was expecting it to be humid. I'm like, well, it's snowing, so I'm going to go with yes, still humid. But that might also have just been a word choice thing.
I took it also as they were surprised of the weather change, but as we have already noted that like the
walls move,
everything's been changing. So
yeah, it's still the Mad Mage.
Yes, pulling the strings. Yes.
Yeah. So next episode should be fun.
Yes.
I mean, we're on episode what, like 16, and we're still introducing characters.
No, I think we're on 18 now.
Are we on 18? Damn.
Yes. I think it's up to 18.
5 more.
Yes. And we'll see
Dang.
where it ends with this chunk of episodes. Because that's the other thing of how okay, fine. This is one that not a spoiler thing, but RS, since you seem to be following along and know how is the pacing of the show to the manga? Do you feel the show is much slower, kind of keeping pace, or fast? Because there's some manga that it kind of goes with it, and others, one definitely outpaces the other, which makes for really interesting shows sometimes when they're if it's a current one. So you can leave that comment because that's not spoilers. But I'm just curious for those who've read the manga, how do you feel the pacing of the show is in comparison to the manga?
I mean, we know the manga is finished, and it's been finished for a hot minute because the going joke is that the mangaka finished it before Baldur's Gate 3 came out so she could play Baldur's Gate 3. So it's been finished for multiple months, possibly a year. Time is a flat circle, and that is why clocks are round. Yeah. So it's been done for a minute. And the adaptation of a manga that is done is very different from an adaptation of a manga that is ongoing, as we all learned in the early and mid 2000s with Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, Brotherhood is amazing, but 03 is required viewing before Brotherhood. Fight me.
I think Gintama is one that also went much other directions too.
Chrono Crusade. For the worse.
Sometimes it works and sometimes it is a bit.
Or Naruto and its filler arcs. Like, because for some reason they felt they had to have an episode of Naruto every week, even when we were out of manga to adapt. I'm really glad they don't do that anymore.
Yeah. The only way that would work is if it's essentially like a choose your own adventure which happens more with like live action shows where the authors are involved and they get to go, well, this was something else I was thinking of doing and didn't get to do. Those are pretty interesting. Okay, here we go.
And I know for FMA, like she did give some ideas as to what she was going to do, but not everything. So 03 could do its own thing.
RS says, I'd say it's pretty much the same pacing wise. There's some stuff that they've skipped over, but most of it wasn't super important. Though there are a few things I'm sad that they cut, but not the point. Maybe a little bit faster, but I don't know. Fair.
I mean, okay. How far? We're 18 episodes into the anime. How far are we in the manga?
Yeah, about what? How would you say? Quarter, half?
I doubt we're at the halfway point. I mean, if we've been covering, give or take, 2 chapters per episode, 30 chapters in, maybe a third.
I must say I'm glad to hear, though, in a way, going the reverse direction, that there's stuff that didn't make it in. So then if we go to read it, there's new stuff.
Yes.
Okay, here we go. It's been a bit since I've read the manga, so let me double check.
Wait, I mean, there's another portion of the show to go, so you've got a little time, fam.
Yeah. Was there anything else that stood out to you in this episode?
I mean, we covered basically everything.
Yes. If there's anything else that stood out to all of you watching, listening, let us know. Leave comments down below. But I feel that's kind of it. I am very excited to see where it goes next because of this other additional party member and depending on their motives. And it just keeps seeming to get more crazy and intense. So it's like,
oh yeah.
Yes. All right. So we shall see. And now let's get into stuff you should check out. So this is other things that you should watch, read, games that we've been checking out that we think you should. I'm like, what was my...
I have a couple of things where they're on my list. I haven't had a chance yet. I'm probably going to be feral next week talking about them. So
fair. No, mine is I had work and then family in town, so I was like, oh, I don't think I really watched much, but I'm still on my K-drama Vincenzo, and I'm finally up to episode 10 out of 20, and I am enjoying it so much.
Excellent.
There are so many moments that are the cliche K-drama of extra shots, extra reaction. I mean, extra per like American style of filmmaking. But then again, it's kind of like our soap operas of da-da, da-da, reaction. Yeah. But you are like, I'm here for it. Give me that popcorn. And similar vibes on it. In case you missed me talking about this show, Vincenzo, one, it's on Netflix. Two, it is similar to Delicious in Dungeon. If you like we're doing all kinds of genres in one show. We get our action, we get oh shit drama. We've killed a lot of people in this show. Like there's a lot of people who've died now by episode 9. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're going dark. And then here's goofy comedy. Oh wait, here's a little bit of queer baiting. And oh wait, but I'm here for it. And then here we get a little bit of romance. So I was like, this is so fun. So I'm kind of curious to see how the second half is, because it is one of those, we've done so much in about 10 episodes. We're only halfway through.
Really is. For me, you're a buffet.
Yes. And so I'm here for all the different variety of the show, and I will definitely let you all know how I feel it wraps up. But so far, it's very exciting. Looking over the chat, I just saw RS replied, says, okay, so last episode got up through the end of chapter 40, and there's 97 chapters. So yeah, it's getting close to halfway. So
probably the halfway point at the end of the season, and then one more season, because I will be gobsmacked if it does not get renewed.
Right. Yeah, I think it's doing really well. So, but yeah, that's the main thing I've been watching, because they're also every episode's almost an hour and a half. So that takes a bit of time to get through it. But then that kind of makes, I'm happy of plenty to enjoy there. Yeah. As our phrase, eating well. Yes, there's a lot.
Yes.
So
yes.
But yes. What about you?
All right. So thing number one that I'm going to be feral about once I actually get around to it, Hades 2 has dropped in early access mode. So I have that in my hot little hands. I just have not had a chance to play it yet, but I will be insufferable about it when I do. For those of you who have never played Hades, it's so fun. It's a roguelike based on Greek mythology where you play as the son of Hades trying to escape the underworld. It is, my God, the art style is beautiful. The gameplay is amazing. I don't usually go, oh yeah, video game music. Like, that's one of those things where it's cool, it's fine. It really has to be good for me to go, oh my God. Hades music had me on the damn floor. It is unbelievably good. So if you have never consumed a Hades before in your life, it's well worth it. Do the thing. I found out that my family has a genetic condition that screws up our thumbs by playing Hades too much. So I play with braces now because that activated that genetic condition. Oops. And again, I'm about to make some really bad decisions. It's gamer's thumb. Gamer's thumb runs in the family. I'm about to make some real bad decisions this weekend when it comes to Hades 2, and I'm going to have zero regrets about it. So that's that. And I never thought I would say this. The series finale of Red vs. Blue dropped this morning, technically midnight last night. Again, have not had a chance to watch that on account of working the day job and having a weird schedule. So that's on the docket for this week. For those of you who watch the YouTube channel, we are planning a discussion on it, not a reaction because it's movie length and we don't do that for reactions. We're just going to talk about it. So again, if you've never done a Red versus Blue, start from the beginning. Be prepared for the fact that it was made in the early 2000s by a bunch of gamer bros, and the fact that it does get better, but it remains weird. And because I started consuming it in high school, it definitely rewired my brain. So for those familiar with the show, you can hear me just throwing out references in casual conversation. Time is a circle, and that is why clocks are round is one of them. So that's, I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready for the series finale, but it's the series finale, and it's on the docket for this week. Things I did consume that I was also not ready for this week that I can actually talk about. There's an anime on Hulu called, do you ever wonder why we're here? It's one of life's great mysteries. Yeah. There is an anime on Hulu called Go-Go Loser Ranger. And it was, yeah, right? It was pitched to me as a comedy. It was pitched to me as a subversion of the Sentai genre. Like, think Power Rangers, if you're not familiar with Sentai. Like, they actually defeated all of the really big monsters a decade ago, but they're still having these, like, prize battles with the putties, essentially, the little mob
Okay.
fighters that remain, because it turns out it's really good money and sponsorships and power and like
Hmm.
and the premise is, okay, one of these, mob fighters gets just fed up with this whole thing, so done with this, and wants to try to take the Rangers down from the inside. So it was like, okay, it's a subversion, it's a comedy, it's funny. And this pitch happened when there was one episode out. And then another friend who was watching it doubled down when there were 2 episodes out. So I sat down last week and watched all 4 episodes that had dropped. And it's not so much a subversion comedy so much as it is, what if Power Rangers did The Boys? So I was not prepared for some of the turns that it took.
All right.
I was not prepared for this show to go the places it did. So I am enjoying it a lot. It has a fantastic sense of humor, but it also has a very black sense of humor. And if you're like me and you're sensitive about animal death, watch out for episode 4.
Mm.
But yeah, like, I cannot wait to see where this goes. It was supposed to have another episode on Sunday, and Hulu doesn't have it yet. So I don't know what's going on there, Hulu.
Mhm.
But yeah, Go Go Loser Ranger is a comedy, but it's like a black comedy.
All
So be prepared for that, because I was not.
That's always entertaining in a way.
It's good.
Ideally, it goes better for you, but when you sit down with something, it is not what you were ready for, and you're like, "Oh, okay."
The first episode was, oh, okay, this is fun. Oh, yeah, I get this. And the second episode, we get to the end, and I'm like, oh, okay. And the third and fourth episodes were just me going, oh, that's fucked. Oh, that's fucked. Oh, that's fucked. Just in continuing intensity. I kind of
Okay.
knew where the show was going when one of the characters used a golf club as a weapon. And as someone who has actually in person seen the damage that a golf club can do to a human face, it was a minor accident that I witnessed, but you kind of have the respect for how much damage a hunk of iron on the end of a stick can actually do. And when a golf club is used as a weapon in any form of media, either they get that or it's comedic.
They
This
do
is a
that actually
show.
in Vincenzo, and it is.
They get that?
It is, yeah. It's a
Yeah.
good whack, and they're down, and they're not
yeah.
getting back up ever.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like,
Same here. Like, this is a show where, like,
Yeah.
they pull out a golf club, and I'm like, okay, how are they? Oh, no.
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
they get it.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Fun. Cool.
So, yes.
Nice.
Still watching Bartender Glass of God. Still
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
good, chill, adult slice of life. You know, we're vibing. It's cool. But yeah. Go Go Loser Ranger is, I recommend it. Just come prepared. I wasn't expecting it to get that bloody. It went places.
Let us know what you're watching, reading, games you're playing. Leave comments down below. And yeah, no, that one sounds cool. I want to check that out.
Do it.
Yeah.
Like, it's a good time. It's just also like, damn.
Yes, that is the thing of if you're not ready for it. Because some people don't handle gore well, even if animated, live action, whatever. They're just like, no. And I'm like, nah, it's cool, but good to know ahead of time.
It definitely really does the covered in blood sort of thing. It hasn't done horrifying gore yet, but it's definitely done like, oh, that's a lot of dead people. Oh dear.
Oh.
So yeah, you know,
Right.
again, the if Power Rangers did The Boys, as someone who hasn't
feel like
watched
a
The
really good
Boys but has
description.
an idea, like,
I like it. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in for nighttime at the Nerd Bar. And reminder to, well, there it is. I had that. There we go. Check us out over on Twitter, NTATNB, and you can interact with us there. Leave comments on this video. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. Give the video a thumbs up. And in case you missed it, it's also in the description. We have the interviews with the Spy Family cast, the dub cast from the dub premiere. And we have a whole playlist here on the Fanversation channel with interviews with different voice actors. So you're going to want to check that out. And Katie, where can people find you online?
You can follow me all over the social medias as well as on YouTube and Twitch at Kiaxet. That is Kiaxet. I'm also a co host on Silver Screams on YouTube, which is the horror themed channel that my roommate and I do.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you all can find me online at Carrie D Lane. That's K-A-A. I can talk, I swear.
The biggest of Monday energies.
K-A-R-I-D-L-A-N-E. Yes, we bring you that Monday energy live. Thank you for joining us live. If you watched it live, if you watched it later, awesome. Comment down below the different stuff we've brought up. And I'd say the biggest things, speaking of horror, if you're a fan of that kind of genre, I did an interview with a few of the cast members for the Amazon show Them, The Scare, and those are here on the Fanversation channel. It is an intense show, so if you haven't checked it out yet, it's really cool. It's definitely in that horror vein, but it's a lot, so just be ready. It was fun telling family, hey, I did this interview, and they're like, oh, I'll go watch the show. I don't like horror, but I'll check it. I'm like, no, you don't. I appreciate it that you want to check it out, but that might not be your cup of tea.
Just watch my interview, not the show.
Yeah,
just the interview.
Just check those out. So I appreciate the support, though. And yeah, so you can follow us here and those different social media places. And yeah, that wraps up our episode. Nighttime in the Dinner Bar. Thank you again for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.